name is Mary Kay Delavan, and I have come to talk to you today as a mother of a 10-year-old with a learning disability. I wish my story were unique, but it's not. My daughter went through early intervention and preschool system due to a speech delay. In kindergarten, she still needed speech services, but as far as we could tell, she was just slightly below her grade level, which was attributed to her speech delay. In first grade, she was discharged from speech services and received academic intervention services for math and reading through second grade. By the last quarter of second grade, in fact, she was receiving 120 minutes of academic intervention services a week, and 30 minutes for what was one-on-one. Due to the intensity of the services, we can only conclude that her specialists were aware of her possible learning disability. On the last day of second grade, her teacher called me and suggested she be tested for a learning disability. And it wasn't until the beginning of third grade that my daughter was tested and determined to have a learning disability, and that she then needed to be moved to a 15-to-1 classroom. I feel a very valuable time was lost with my daughter. If she had received more intensive therapy, i.e. a self-contained classroom, from as early as the beginning of second grade, when we already knew there were substantial challenges for her learning, she would have been able to possibly have had a better grasp of the fundamentals and not be struggling in fifth grade, particularly with the major changes in our curriculum that we've had the last year or two. We must take a look at the academic intervention services in the state of New York. If a child is receiving AIS for one subject, such as math, then maybe we can assume that math is not the child's best subject and continue services as long as they are needed and they are making sufficient progress. However, when a child is receiving AIS for two subjects and is still struggling with their work after 5 quarters, there may be a deeper reason, such as a learning disability, that needs to be addressed, and at that point we must begin to look further into the reason why. If this were the case, my daughter would have been tested sooner and would not have gone to third grade without all the help she needed, but rather in mid-second grade she would have started to receive more intensive services. By waiting for the end of the third academic year, very valuable time was lost. The early elementary years are so important for establishing an academic foundation, as well as an attitude about school and learning. Those things can be greatly impacted negatively by the lack of intervention and appropriate intervention. I hope and pray every day that has not been the case for my daughter. Thank you very much for your time.